Insider secret number 15, bulletproof protection for your home from creditors, judgments, and IRS liens. This is important for anyone who owns an asset of value and has equity in it. This is bulletproof protection for your home from creditors, from judgments, and quite often, when structured properly, I've even seen investors' assets and homeowners' assets protected from the IRS and their claims as well. Now, when you own a home or when you buy a home, you're generally offered 3 different ways in which to take ownership. 1, you can take ownership in joint tenancy. 2, you can take your ownership as tenants in common. Or 3, tenants by the entireties. Those are the 3 most common forms of ownership, the ones you will use to determine how well protected your assets will be. Now, tenants in common, this is simply when 2 people take property ownership together and they're not related. This is a limited asset protection with this because a creditor or a judgment can still take away your share of the asset if you own it separately. Joint tenancy, the second way, this would be for people who are related, buying property together, and if one partner died, the other partner's share of the property would go to that partner that remains alive. However, you jointly own the property. You're also jointly liable if one partner has a credit or an IRS problem or some lawsuit problems. The property can now be taken from both of you, or a lien could be put on it, which could cloud the equity on that property. Tenants by the entirety. This, however, is a form of joint ownership for married couples. As of the time of this, if one partner in the marriage has had financial issues or lawsuits and the other partner doesn't, in the tenants by the entirety situation, or sometimes known as tenants by the entireties, the creditors and the judgments cannot come after the property because the property isn't owned in an equally divisible way. Now, entity ownership. Now, a step beyond these 3 basic forms of ownership is what's known as entity ownership. Now, with this, you can actually put the property into a limited liability company or a limited partnership. These entities, they can be formed for only a few $100s. The limited liability company or limited partnership offers protection for the asset, as well as protection between the partners from each other's individual liabilities or future liabilities from outside creditors, judgments, lawsuits, etc. This is especially important when owning a property with an unrelated person or partner. However, this entity needs to be run properly. It needs to be run as an official entity with a separate checkbook and separate minutes and meetings. And it cannot be considered an alter ego in the eyes of the law. Now, you got to get brief counseling, not a lot, but you got to get brief counseling from an attorney on this. A lot of my real estate clients who have done this have done so very effectively and fended off many creditors and even the IRS. The downside to this is that it takes a little bit extra administration, a little bit extra time, but it's certainly worth the peace of mind when it comes to protecting your hard-earned assets from lawsuits, from creditors, potential future unforeseen issues in one's life. Deferring or even avoiding estate taxes, you can protect your asset and your heirs with this next strategy, which are using trusts. Estate taxes can be quite disappointing to many people, to say the least, especially when they built up a lifetime of even a moderately sized estate. These taxes can reach as much as over 50% or more of a person's estate when they pass away. So, when putting your house in a trust, you need to know there are 2 popular types of trusts and many other minor types. They are the Grantor Trust for the estate planning and the NonGrantor Trust, which also helps with fending off lawsuits. This is an area where you should definitely consult with an estate planning attorney for the benefits, as well as the difference of each type of trust. These trusts aren't that expensive, really. Some of them cost anywhere from only a few $100s up to a couple $1,000s for an entire package of not only a trust, but the entire foundation of an estate plan. It's very reasonable. The Grantor Trust. Now, this trust is designed to help you bypass thousands of dollars in estate taxes, and it also helps you bypass the lengthy legal probate process when someone passes away, which can take, many, many months. I've seen it take a couple of years, and also cost thousands and thousands of dollars in legal and court expenses associated with it just for the administration. The Grantor Trust also offers the flexibility of having the right to remove the property from the trust in the future if you should ever want to. So it has many flexible benefits, and it's pretty inexpensive. The NonGrantor Trust, however, this trust has some similar advantages to the Grantor Trust, but also offers asset protection components as well. They're not found in the normal Grantor Trust. So when a property is put in a non-Grantor Trust, it can, this is partially the reason for the added advantage of the creditor and lawsuit protection. So, well, since you no longer theoretically own the property anymore, you're not the person who could be associated with controlling interest to that wealth, even though you or your heirs may be involved with it somehow, or its benefits. Therefore, you'd be called beneficiaries, and you would be beneficiaries of its wealth-producing capabilities. You don't actually own it. So anyone who doesn't have their home in a trust, or even a modest amount of equity in a property, really needs to look into this because of the many legal benefits. The cost-to-benefit ratio is very advantageous. You can find out more about how we are currently using insider strategies, learn from my real estate radio show, to save home buyers, homeowners, tens of thousands of dollars on their homes and financing every day right here in Northern Virginia. Just check out my free live online webinar at www.homebuyerinsidesecrets.com. That's www.homebuyerinsidesecrets.com. You can also get all of these insider techniques applied to your own personal home purchase with our free Insider's Access Homebuyer Savings Program and get a minimum guaranteed savings of $25,000 to $50,000. And the best part is, not only do we guarantee you save at least $25,000 or more with my exclusive strategies, the service is no cost to you. Go to novahomesavings.com. That's novahomesavings.com, and find out why even other realtors, other mortgage lenders, and brokers actually use me as their own buyer broker on their personal home buying transactions instead of relying on themselves. That's www.novahomesavings.com.